The claim that 11 actresses were banned for not getting laid with powerful men is an oversimplification and misrepresentation of the complex dynamics of Hollywood's history. While it's true that many actresses faced professional setbacks due to refusing sexual advances or challenging industry norms, the reasons for their marginalization were multifaceted, including political affiliations, personal choices, and systemic sexism. Here are some notable actresses who experienced significant career challenges, often due to their resistance to Lee Grant, an Oscar-winning actress, was blacklisted in Hollywood during the McCarthy era, a time when fears of communism led to widespread accusations and professional punishment. Her blacklisting began after she gave a eulogy for actor J. Edward Bromberg, who had been targeted by the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC. Grant's decision to speak out raised suspicion about her own political beliefs. When she refused to testify against others, she was effectively banned from major film and television roles for over a decade. Despite the damage to her career, Grant eventually made a successful comeback. In the 1970s, she earned critical acclaim, including an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Shampoo. More than just an actress, she became a vocal advocate for civil rights and women's issues, using her experiences to speak out against injustice in Hollywood. Her story stands as a powerful example of resilience in the face of political persecution and the long-lasting effects of blacklisting during one of the darkest periods in American entertainment history. Tippi Hedren, best known for her roles in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, 1963, and Marnie, 1964, experienced a major career setback after rejecting Hitchcock's alleged sexual advances. According to Hedren, Hitchcock became possessive and controlling during their collaborations. When she refused his advances, he retaliated by sabotaging her career, refusing to release her from her contract, and ensuring she didn't get roles from other directors. Despite being under contract, Hitchcock kept her idle, effectively blacklisting her from major studio films during a critical time in her career. While she continued to work in smaller films and television roles, she never regained the level of stardom she might have achieved. Hedren's story remained largely hidden for decades, until she spoke out in interviews and in her memoir, Tippi, a memoir, shedding light on the abuse of power in Hollywood. Her experience helped fuel discussions about the exploitation of actresses in the industry and contributed to the broader awareness brought forth by the #MeToo movement. Today, she is also recognized for her animal rights work and for inspiring a new generation of women to speak up. Mira Sorvino, an Academy Award-winning actress, rose to fame in the 1990s with acclaimed performances in films like Mighty Aphrodite, 1995, for which she won Best Supporting Actress. However, despite her talent and early success, her career faced a sharp and unexpected decline. Years later, Sorvino revealed that producer Harvey Weinstein had blacklisted her after she rejected his sexual advances. In 2017, director Peter Jackson confirmed that during casting for The Lord of the Rings, he had been warned by Weinstein's company not to work with Sorvino, labeling her as difficult. At the time, Jackson had no reason to question this advice and passed over her for a major role. This revelation supported Sorvino's claims and highlighted how powerful figures in Hollywood could secretly sabotage careers for personal reasons. Sorvino's story became one of the most publicized examples of Hollywood's toxic power dynamics, particularly during the rise of the #MeToo movement. Her courage in speaking out helped expose a widespread culture of harassment and retaliation in the entertainment industry, while also sparking broader discussions about justice and accountability. Ashley Judd, a respected actress known for roles in films like Double Jeopardy and Kiss the Girls, was one of the first women to speak out publicly against disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein. In 2017, Judd revealed that Weinstein had sexually harassed her during a meeting early in her career. When she rejected his advances, she believes he retaliated by spreading negative information about her to others in the industry, effectively blacklisting her from major roles. One significant example came from director Peter Jackson, who later confirmed that Weinstein's company discouraged him from casting Judd in The Lord of the Rings, labeling her as a nightmare to work with. At the time, Jackson had no reason to doubt the claim and removed her from consideration. This loss was a turning point in Judd's career, as it denied her a prominent role in what became one of the most successful film franchises of all time. Judd later filed a defamation lawsuit against Weinstein and became a leading voice in the #MeToo movement. Her courage in coming forward helped pave the way for systemic change in the entertainment industry. Rose McGowan, best known for her role in the TV series Charmed and films like Scream, became one of the earliest and most outspoken voices against sexual abuse in Hollywood. In 2017, she publicly accused powerful producer Harvey Weinstein of raping her in the late 1990s during the Sundance Film Festival. According to McGowan, after she rejected Weinstein's attempts to silence her with a settlement, she was blacklisted by major studios and casting agents, effectively ending her rise as a film star. Despite once being considered a rising actress, McGowan said her career suffered dramatically after the assault. She claimed Weinstein used his influence to label her as difficult and unstable, making it harder for her to land roles. Her warnings about Weinstein were largely ignored by the industry for years. McGowan later became a central figure in the #MeToo movement, using her voice to advocate for survivors of sexual violence and expose systemic abuse in entertainment. Her book Brave and her activism brought global attention to the culture of silence and retaliation in Hollywood, making her one of the most influential whistleblowers of her time. Kathy Griffin, a comedian known for her sharp wit and bold humor, faced major professional fallout in 2017 after a controversial photo shoot in which she posed with a fake severed head resembling then-President Donald Trump. The image sparked immediate backlash across political lines, with many calling it offensive and inappropriate. In the aftermath, Griffin lost endorsement deals, had her nationwide comedy tour cancelled, and was dropped by longtime employer CNN, where she had co-hosted New Year's Eve specials. Griffin later claimed that the response went beyond public outrage and amounted to an industry-wide blacklisting. She said she was investigated by the Secret Service, received death threats, and was shunned by colleagues and networks alike. Despite issuing a public apology, which she later rescinded, she found herself virtually unemployable in Hollywood for a time. Over the following years, Griffin gradually rebuilt her career through international tours and independent projects. Her experience underscored the risks entertainers face when engaging in politically charged satire, particularly as women in comedy. She has since become an advocate for free speech and spoken out about the lasting consequences of cancel culture and blacklisting. Jean Muir, a talented stage and screen actress of the 1930s and 1940s, became one of the earliest victims of Hollywood blacklisting during the Red Scare. In 1950, her name appeared in Red Channels, a pamphlet that listed alleged communist sympathizers in the entertainment industry. Although Muir had no criminal record and denied being a communist, her political affiliations and support for liberal causes were enough to attract suspicion. At the time, Muir had just been cast as the mother in the new NBC sitcom The Aldrich Family. Once Red Channels was published, the network quickly dropped her from the show following pressure from sponsors and conservative groups. Her removal marked a historic moment. She was the first actor fired from a television role due to blacklisting. Muir struggled to find work afterward and eventually left acting to teach drama at Stevens College and later at the University of Missouri. Her blacklisting not only ended her mainstream acting career but also exemplified the far-reaching consequences of the anti-communist hysteria. Jean Muir's story remains a powerful example of how political fear can silence voices and derail careers without due process. Karen Morley was a successful actress in the 1930s, known for roles in films like Scarface, 1932, and Dinner at 8, 1933. However, her career took a dramatic turn in the late 1940s during the rise of anti-communist sentiment in the United States. In 1952, Morley was called to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, which was investigating alleged communist influence in Hollywood. During her testimony, Morley refused to answer questions about whether she had ever been a member of the Communist Party, citing her First Amendment rights. This defiance was seen as uncooperative, and she was quickly blacklisted by the industry. Studios stopped offering her roles, and her once promising career came to a halt. After being blacklisted, Morley never returned to the Hollywood spotlight. Instead, she focused on political activism and later made occasional television appearances in the 1970s. Her story illustrates how standing up for personal beliefs during the McCarthy era could result in professional ruin. Karen Morley's experience remains a powerful example of the cost of political courage during one of America's most repressive cultural periods. Marcia Hunt was a successful actress in the 1930s and 1940s, known for her work in films like Pride and Prejudice, 1940, and Raw Deal, 1948. At the height of her career, she was admired for her talent, beauty, and professionalism. However, in the early 1950s, Hunt's career was abruptly derailed during the McCarthy-era Blacklist, not because of any criminal activity, but due to her political activism and association with liberal causes. Hunt was one of the few Hollywood figures who openly spoke out against the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC. She joined a group of industry professionals known as the Committee for the First Amendment, which publicly criticized the hearings and supported those accused of communist sympathies. Her name was soon listed in the anti-communist publication Red Channels, and job offers stopped almost immediately. Though she was never officially charged with any wrongdoing, Hunt was blacklisted from major film and television roles for years. She later devoted much of her life to humanitarian work and quietly resumed acting in small roles. Marcia Hunt's story is a testament to how political dissent could silence even the most respected voices in Hollywood. Jean Rouverol was a talented actress and screenwriter whose career was deeply affected by the Hollywood blacklist during the 1950s. A former child actress who transitioned into writing, Rouverol became politically active and joined the Communist Party in the 1940s, a decision that would later cost her dearly. In 1951, during the height of the Red Scare, her name appeared in the notorious Red Channels pamphlet, and she was subpoenaed by the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC. Rather than testify and risk implicating others, Rouverol and her husband, screenwriter Hugo Butler, chose to go into self-imposed exile in Mexico with their children. During their 13 years abroad, she continued to write scripts secretly. Often using pseudonyms or funneling work through sympathetic colleagues in Hollywood, Rouverol returned to the U.S. in the mid-1960s and later found work writing for soap operas like Guiding Light, earning a Daytime Emmy nomination. Her story is a powerful example of the impact of political persecution on creative lives. Jean Rouverol remained an advocate for artistic freedom and civil liberties, showing remarkable resilience in the face of ideological repression. Tallulah Bankhead was a celebrated actress of the stage and screen, known for her bold personality, wit, and immense talent. During the 1930s and 1940s, she starred in acclaimed films such as Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat, 1944, and earned praise for her dynamic stage performances. However, despite her undeniable talent, Bankhead's career was limited by her refusal to conform to Hollywood's strict moral expectations. She was openly bisexual at a time when such openness was taboo, and her lifestyle, marked by heavy drinking, drug use, and frank discussions of sexuality, clashed with the conservative image the film industry tried to project. As a result, her name was reportedly included in the Hays Commission's so-called Doom Book, an unofficial list of performers deemed morally unsuitable for leading roles or public admiration. Though not officially blacklisted in the way others were during the McCarthy era, Bankhead was effectively sidelined by an industry uncomfortable with her independence and defiance of gender norms. Her story reflects the way Hollywood often punished women, particularly queer women, for challenging societal expectations, regardless of their talent or popularity. Dorothy Cummingore was a promising actress best known for her powerful performance as Susan Alexander Kane in Orson Welles' iconic film Citizen Kane, 1941. Despite her early success and critical acclaim, her acting career was short-lived due to the political turmoil of the McCarthy era. Cummingore was an outspoken progressive with alleged ties to leftist organizations, which drew the attention of the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, during its crackdown on suspected communists in Hollywood. In 1952, she was subpoenaed by WAC but refused to testify or name others, citing her constitutional rights. Her defiance led to immediate blacklisting, making it nearly impossible for her to find work in film or television. Beyond career consequences, she suffered personal attacks and was even arrested under suspicious circumstances, widely believed to be politically motivated. Cummingore never regained her place in the spotlight. The combined weight of political persecution, loss of livelihood, and personal hardship took a severe toll. Her story is a stark reminder of how easily a career could be destroyed during the Red Scare, not by lack of talent, but by the refusal to conform to ideological pressure. Lena Horne was a groundbreaking African-American singer, actress, and civil rights activist who broke many racial barriers in Hollywood. Rising to fame in the 1940s, she became one of the few black performers to secure leading roles in major films and was admired for her beauty, talent, and charisma. However, her career faced significant challenges during the McCarthy era due to her outspoken support for civil rights and alleged associations with left-wing groups. Though she was never officially accused of being a communist, suspicion and fear led to her being blacklisted in Hollywood, severely limiting her film opportunities. The entertainment industry's reluctance to cast her in major roles reflected the era's broader racial and political prejudices. Despite this, Lena Horne continued to have a successful career as a singer and performer, particularly on television and in live shows. Horne's resilience and activism made her an important cultural figure who paved the way for future generations of black artists, even as she faced systemic barriers and professional setbacks during one of America's most repressive political periods. Gail Sondergaard was an accomplished actress who won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress early in her career, praised for her roles in films during the 1930s and 1940s. However, her flourishing career was derailed during the 1950s when the Hollywood blacklist took hold amid the Red Scare. Her husband, Herbert Biberman, was one of the Hollywood 10, a group of writers and directors who refused to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, about alleged communist affiliations. Because of her close association with Biberman and her own political beliefs, Sondergaard was blacklisted alongside him. The industry largely shunned her, and she was barred from mainstream film work for many years. Despite this, she remained loyal to her husband and their shared ideals, which came at a high professional cost. Though the blacklist eventually eased, Sondergaard's career never fully recovered. Her story highlights the collateral damage of McCarthyism, showing how fear and suspicion extended beyond direct targets to affect entire families and careers in Hollywood.